is Kyle Brown, and can I get a show of hands for anyone who's ever trained or practiced for anything in their lives before? So as you can tell, nearly everyone has had some sort of form of training or practice, and I'm the same too. I've had countless hours of training for sports and also just real life in general too. I want to talk about the importance of training and practice and why it matters to us. So to start off, training, according to the Webster Dictionary, training is the act, process, or method of one that seeks to improve skill, knowledge, or experience in a certain area. On the other hand, practice is repeated exercise in or performance of an activity or skill so as to acquire and maintain proficiency in it. Wow, that's a mouthful. So the simpler definitions of those, training would be learning how to do something new or better, and then practice is what you learned and then applying it. Or not applying what you learned from your training. There we go. So to start off, training and practice is most apparent in sports. Obviously, there's numerous different types of programs and stuff that you can do. And to list a couple that I've done before, I've done different training programs that improved agility, strength, coordination. I've watched film, I've done lifting, conditioning. But that doesn't matter unless you apply it to practice. And there's numerous different ways you can practice stuff. A couple of things I've done are drills, private, team practices, in-game situations, and scrimmage. But training and practice doesn't stop there. It affects more than just that. One thing that I actually found really interesting when I looked this up was that activities and hobbies that have proficiencies actually affect a lot with your training and practice. So for example, like a violin. If you pick up a violin, you're not going to know how to play it right away, but the more you put training and practice into it, the more and more you'll be able to play it better and better. You can play different songs and stuff like that. Another thing that it affects is your work ethics and career opportunities and advancement, which that one's very big for our lives because without any training or practice, you'll never be able to advance in your career. And then there's also, these are just a couple applications, but there's millions of different applications you can use it as well for. So why do people train and practice? I have a quote from Malcolm Gladwell, who was the author of the book Outliers. He had a quote that said, "It takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert at something, but I guarantee none of us have 10,000 hours of free time." So a more practical example comes from Josh Kaufman from the Personal MBA. Knowing nothing to being pretty good takes about 20 hours of practice. That's equivalent to about 45 minutes a day for a month. For reference, it's about a little shorter than a class period. But those 45 minutes, you have to determine how you want to spend those 45 minutes. The three different ways to spend those 45 minutes for training, the three different aspects of training. The first one is improve skill. An example of that can be like pitching or throwing a baseball or softball. The second aspect of training would be improving your knowledge. So this one was kind of a harder to find an example for, but I found one. It was back when we were in high school, we would take ACT or other people would take SAT prep classes, and those would broaden your knowledge so you can prepare better for the exam. And then the last aspect of training is increasing experience. The perfect example of this is on-site job training. But this all really doesn't matter unless you apply your training to practice. So to continue on those examples, pitching or throwing a baseball, there's numerous different types of drills you can do to continue to improve that. For the ACT and SAT, the way you practice for that is there's mock exams, prep books that you can take. And then for jobs, like the job site training, you can shadow workers, and there's also hands-on experience that many other people do as well. To wrap things up, training and practice can be applied to many different activities and tasks that we do in our daily lives, and it goes way beyond just sports, because many people stopped arguing with sports, but there's many different applications it has to real life. Without training and practice, most of us wouldn't get far in life. We would all have a lack of training or be unqualified for the positions that we want. And for me personally, without training and practice, I would never have made it to the woods.